So you've now really transitioned heavily to being a one-call close machine. You use a power dialer, you're calling like crazy, and when you get someone on the phone, you hook them. So that's important for people to learn. Let's talk about your transition from mortgage protection to IUL. Was that hard? Was that easy? Was that necessary? What do you think? Because you were a mortgage protection machine. And
it's the same thing, Grady.
Same thing.
It's the same thing. You just need a person on the phone and you have to identify very quickly what they're going to qualify for. So I don't look for the IUL. Honestly, the best IUL leads have are mortgage protection blue collar clients.
Got it.
But it's just identifying what they're going to qualify for and then selling what can be sold, because the psychology of the sale, it's not they want it because they want a Ferrari, they want a car because they got to drive to work. So it's just whether or not they're qualified. And if they are not, then congratulations, we got you some guaranteed advantage. You just have to go with what they're going to qualify for.
Got it.
The transition wasn't hard the whole time. When I went on the cruise, it was just strange because I didn't know what they were and I came from banking. So it was like, wow, these are really super elite. But the actual process to submit and understanding of it is very, very basic. I remember when I started, everyone was doing final expense and only elite people were really good and focused on MP. And I'm like, that's just marketing. It's just life insurance. It's either term or whole life or now IUL, right? You just have to identify the need, qualify them, and then put them in the right product so it doesn't charge off and you get paid and the client's happy and they hopefully refer you more clients.
I love it. Okay, so let's dig into some. I want to get in IULs, but I would love for people to hear your script because you're a one-call close machine. You've done appointments and you've had 18 appointments on a Saturday, and the universe was not in your favor. And 18 people did not answer the phone with multiple texts, Calendly reminders, emails. Hit them from multiple different phone numbers. They all moved to Portugal and threw their phone in the pool before they moved. So that's happened. So you've now really transitioned heavily to being a one-call close machine. You use a power dialer, you're calling like crazy, and when you get someone on the phone, you hook them. So that's important for people to learn. Will you talk about what you do, what you say, kind of first 30, 60, 90 seconds to when you get someone on the phone, how you take control, or anything you want to add to that first part I just covered?
Yep. Pretty easy. So the key target for me is that you have information that you can get them to keep saying yes to. So, immediately it's like, Steve, I've been trying to get a hold of you. Huh? Is this your email? Yeah. Is this the best phone number still, right? Who is this? You requested information for cash accumulation life insurance. Does that ring a bell? What? No, I didn't. Oh, really? On this date? Oh, okay. Is this still your address? Is this your mortgage amount? Whatever you have that can get them saying yes is essential to keep them on the phone. Once I do that, they already have a text message with my website that has all my 40 something state licenses. Like, oh, it's just required by law. The state wants you to set, eyes on it real quick. If you could take a pop at that, peek at that real quick. That's like the hook for them. You have to get credibility. The second they somewhat open up to you, or if they really remember doing it and they're really interested, then it's the qualifying part has to be like the first 3 minutes. So, Grady, this is what the process is going to look like. Real quickly, I'm going to need you probably have your social security memorized, right? Yes. Great. I'm going to need that for the Medical Information Bureau and HIPAA. You familiar with that? No? Okay, I'll explain it to you. Don't worry about it, but you have it memorized, right? Yep. Great. And obviously you have your driver's license memorized, right? Yep. Okay, great. And it's not suspended. It's an active driver's license. Yep. No, not suspended. Okay, great. And then the last thing we're going to do is validate your account number because we got to make sure that it's not your cousin in Alabama applying for an account in your name. Does that make sense? Yeah. Why do you need that again? Here, I want you to go back and look at the link I just sent you because I had a live scan done 75 times last year so that I could provide these services to you. And without those first 3 things, I can't even move forward. Oh, but I just want to quote, you know what? It'd be completely unethical for me to give you one because we're all blood, water, and oxygen without me pulling up those 3 things and identifying who you are and getting an consent form from you. I'd be doing the wrong thing for you. Does that make sense? That's kind of the opener. You know what I mean, Grady? It hasn't changed since the first 90 days, 100 grand,
You're just very direct out the gate. You're not looking for tire kickers. You want
no,
someone.
if they're a tire, well, because if they, first of all, 90% of the people are liars and they're going to not get qualified. So the faster you can get through the application, the more you can add value when you're like, hey, you know what? If you had told me about the DUIs twice in 5 years, I could have recommended this. So, like I had mentioned, you see those 30 carriers at the bottom of the site. I work for you. I come with the policy. I don't work for them. So, the more you tell me, the better I can recommend because I've heard everything. Does that make sense? You got to break them down, but the sooner you get through it and you submit, then people like, oh, well, I only have Cash App. I had fraud. I can't do anything. Okay, well, I'm going to give you a homework assignment then. You got to go open a bank account like every other person on the planet because you can't get an insurance policy if you don't have one. Does that make sense? Like that, the driver's license, and if they're super scared about the social, it's a not now campaign. Talk to you next time and just move to the next.
Well, okay, so I love all that, right? Take control, assert your position. We talk about being the doctor-patient relationship. Doctor tells you to do something, you do it. You don't challenge a doctor, they're a doctor. But what are you saying in the 30, 60 seconds before that so that they build you mentioned a link, you talk about that. What are you saying? Like open the call to like, I'm calling on behalf of X, Y, or Z. What are you saying to it to like go, I want to continue to communicate with this person? How do we top of the call?
Hey, Grady, I'm just getting back to you about the request you just submitted last week. Huh? Yeah. Is this your birthday? So I kind of want to stump them.
Okay, so
I don't even want to go tell them like everything. I don't say mortgage protection anymore like I used to. I don't even say life insurance anymore. I just have to stump them and then I'll ease into it.
okay. 12/19/83. What's
12/19/83.
That's my birthday.
Oh, perfect. And is this the best phone number for you still?
Yes, 928. Or I don't want to give my phone number out, but yeah.
Great. So I see it. I see it just popped up blue on my phone. So you're using Apple. Do you see that link I sent you?
Yeah, I see it.
Perfect. If you just want to take a quick peek at that, go ahead and click on that. You'll be able
Okay.
to validate who I am since I already have your information.
Okay.
Perfect.
That's a nice website.
Great. And if you want to go ahead and scroll down, you'll see I'm the funny bald guy. And that's my partner, Francesca. She's the beautiful female next to me. You got stuck with me because we're both real busy. Scroll down to the bottom. You're going to see a bunch of companies you've probably heard of before. Mutual of Omaha, AIG, Transamerica. Do any of those look familiar?
So you're using a third-party website through LeadChamp Pro that is a credibility website. So you have a simple website. You upload a couple pictures, your licenses. They build you a website that comes into a simple link, and then you're now on the initial call. You're taking that link and texting it to them so that there's an additional level of credibility, right?
They've already gotten it before the appointment.
They have. But they probably haven't looked at it, but now you're reaffirming, right? We want to increase credibility, reduce sales pressure. That's always our goal. And so in this mindset, you're giving them a simple link while you're on the phone with them. They're scrolling through, they hear you talking, they're looking at the companies, et cetera. So that's it. Now, at what point are you saying you filled out a request to learn more about Index Universal Life?
So once they do that, I go, you probably remember the commercial, and then you got verified via email. It was a big, funny, big, fat Irish Italian guy like me talking to you about the best kept secret in America, and be like, oh yeah, I remember that. Or it's very specific. It's another African American female, blah blah blah, who's talking about mortgage protection, and then they remember, and then from there, I'm like, so my job is to just submit a request today. You can't buy this. We just have to see if you qualify. So it's going to take me less than 10 minutes to do that. I really just have a couple basic questions to get started if we have the time today, because I'm pretty busy. And then I kind of lure them in.
So what are the questions you're asking? Let's keep going.
So that would go right back to the first. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm just going to kind of tell you what's expected for me to submit a request. So Grady, do you have your social security number memorized? I'm assuming you do.
Yes.
Great. I'm going to need that.
Okay.
I'm going to need your driver's license number. Do you have that memorized?
No, I don't know who does, but I can get it out of my wallet.
Perfect. You want to go ahead and get a hold of that.
Do you have your driver's license? You have your driver's license number?
Yeah, I do.
Who needs that?
I don't know. I haven't gotten a ticket in 20 years, but yeah.
Go ahead. Okay.
The reason I say, do you have it memorized is because people will say they do, or they have to find it, or it's in their car, or they have an excuse, and then kind of right away.
Okay.
Yeah, and then last, we're going to need to validate who you are and that you have an account in good standing. Where do you bank at, Grady?
Chase,
Oh, great. And did you open it in New York in Chase, or did you open it there in Arizona?
Arizona.
Okay. The reason I asked that is because the routing numbers are different. And when we authenticate who you are, it's going to immediately register where you opened it. So I want to make sure the routing number that I pull up on their website is going to match with the account that you have. And just last thing, is the account in your name?
Yeah.
Perfect. So let me get your physical address.
Okay.
Perfect. And who would the beneficiary be if you got hit by a truck next week?
My wife, Chantel,
Great. And her birthday?
March 1st, 84.
Perfect. And I'll get her number when we get you the approval. Now, what's your social?
Boom. Okay. So you're just going right into it there. So when do I get to learn about IULs? After I play by your rules. This is you being the doctor in control. I'm in the waiting room right now with
Perfect
Mary,
question.
and
Great
I'm
question.
picking up the papers by myself right now, and then I
Great.
eventually to see you.
Great question. So I just wanted to get some information about infinite banking, or be my own bank, or about borrowing against my life insurance policy. That's great. I'm not a professor at Stanford because I don't have time. If you don't get qualified, I'd love to be a teacher and just educate, the general population of the whole United States on IULs, but I don't have the time to do that because they're all hypothetical if you don't qualify. And to be honest, 80% of people don't. So I'm going to find something you do qualify for, and it's going to make sense, and we'll go from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Got to shut them down right away because everybody wants all the secret sauce. They just want information. If you pull up a quote and show it to them, you might as well be dead in the water. I never give them a quote ever until they qualify, unless it's a really strong buyer and they're going into NLG and it's a very strong buyer.